Okay, I need a moment of silence because I just recorded this video now and I decided to check how the audio sounded because I had to reconnect my microphone and I recorded it without the audio. So here we go again. Well, for me at least.
Eventually.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the new century and 1400. Well, actually not really. This is the video in between the centuries just to kind of sum everything up and update you on all the updates and what I have been doing in regards to the challenge. Before I proceed, please don't forget to subscribe, click like and leave a comment, even an emoji, anything, any support is so much appreciated and means a lot. So let's start with the house. Of course, I completely renovated it for the new century and expanded it, but kind of using the old walls as well, so it all makes sense. And I only used the money that they had, also sort of not to have incredibly expensive house in medieval times. And some rooms could be a little bit more full, but I do like this idea of slowly evolving and the house changing throughout the century, but also throughout the decades. Now I'll probably put some sped up building bits behind me, but let me show you around a little bit. So first, I guess for me the noticeable thing is that my lake is now here. I'm playing with off the grid and simple living challenges, so the lake is vital to get the water, even though there is water around the map. I'm playing in Hanford on Bagley and there is water around, but it's sort of far away, so I feel like the lake is essential and important, very important for this challenge. And I also mowed my garden. It used to be here where the lake is now. Sorry, I couldn't see before. But now it's here and it's a little bit different from before because I didn't follow the garden rules in the previous century, but now I will. Well, while I'm showing you some speed up bits of me rebuilding the house and updating the house, just a quick note that, of course, I left the challenge before finishing the century, like 2 years of the century for like a year. I was really into streaming at that point, and when I started the challenge originally, I was going through some personal things, so it kind of really helped me put my mind separately and kind of have something organized. And it's something I really started to need again in December because I got sort of sick and I couldn't really speak. Like I kept coughing and I only streamed once as I'm recording this video in 2025 just because it was just incredible. I would just cough and cough and cough non-stop. And it was like that for like 2 weeks. I had no celebrations whatsoever and it really got to me. So I got back into the challenge. I had to move everything from PlayStation to PC and I was finally able to put some custom content. I decided to limit myself on like 10 to 15 custom pieces. I have some clothes, I have some things, and in this house we have the candle making machine that is a CC. I have a loom, I have the cooking, of course, and the updated crafting table thingy. And the clothes, I got some pretty cool things that I always wanted, especially for main household, thinking about them because they are the family that I play. So to see them in a nice related to the century clothes, it's super important. And like one of the best parts about uploading things to the gallery is that I got to have all my things. I got to have all my Sims. The only thing I lost, since it's not like cross-platform, the Sims I mean, is my family tree. I had this gigantic family tree. Somehow PlayStation saved all the portraits like to the top, and it was just incredible. And I think with New Life and Death expansion pack it would be so much fun as well to update. I also had a graveyard with all of the graves and tombstones, but it didn't translate into the gallery, unfortunately. Through the gallery, I lost everything, basically. And the important parts were the tombstones, were the Sims related to them. Now, another update here on the map would be that I moved this little thing. It used to be much closer to the house. I decided to move it to kind of give space and start to have this area as sort of central area for my Sims. I also feel like in future I will be connecting it. I will either be connecting it or building another building on the territory. So slowly it will kind of evolve. Then from the new built walls would be this part here. This used to be 2 bathrooms actually, and then I connected it here. And I use this open doors. Kind of reminds me of this carriage passages that some old buildings have. So I wanted to have something like that as well. Now let me quickly show you what's inside. So I guess the most important change for me, and this is like the main room, this used to be kitchen and dining room, but now it's sort of one big area here. And it has all the activities and the cooking space possible, and has my fireplace with all the seats. And it's connected only to this area of the house. I'll explain in a bit why I did that, but I kind of went with this bed for this century, and I think it looks sort of medieval, I'm not gonna lie. I also used those curtains like between doors, and I think it also gave it a bit of a flair. Since there's not much to do, my family is quite creative, I believe, and they do some sort of activities all the time, and I thought it was important to kind of the house to reflect on that. So the bedroom was connected to the bathroom and this tiny room for infants, or for newborns actually. And then we have this area here, the new opening, and this goes into the kids' bedroom. This used to be connected here with the door, but it ended up super crowded. Everyone was constantly here. They would go sort of from one bedroom and second bedroom. They would all meet in like this tiny dining room here, and it would be super cluttered with Sims because the families tend to be big. So I decided that I would create sort of another passageways. They of course will be all here anyway, but it's sort of like a longer road and it's a little bit more spread out, so they can waste some time walking and hopefully not just bump into one another. Like I would have literally like on this spot like 3 to 4 Sims just trying to get out. So that was an important change for me. In the kids room we have 4 spaces for children and teenagers, 2 beds for toddlers and 1 for infant, and then they have their own bathroom here as well. This room, it used to be 2 bathrooms actually, 2 outside bathrooms, kind of separate buildings outside. So there was one and another one, and I connected them. So this became bar for now, and it has all the portraits. I was so happy that those portraits got to my PC through the gallery from my PlayStation. So it has all my heirs, from Adam to Gilbert, Richard, Benedict, I believe. Oh no, Gregory and Aldous. Sorry, Benedict was, I believe, the father of the heir one. And here we have the nectar making machine because I decided we're gonna do lots of nectar this century. And downstairs in the basement we have the nectar storage, and this is just an empty sort of room for now, but I'm excited to have my first basement and to have actually like something functioning there. Now this little room here, it has candle making machine and like archaeology table, and that's about it. And there's also flower station, because this year together with like historical events I will also have holidays, and a lot of medieval holidays included something about flowers, wearing flowers, putting flowers around the house. So I thought florist could be flower arrangements. Even though I used it in the previous century for a bit, it still could be interesting and definitely a medieval activity. So on the gallery you can find my house from the beginning of the challenge. It's right here. That's how it used to look like literally on like day 1, or maybe this was as of 1306, because it kept evolving. And as this video comes out, there will be also the new house. That's the thumbnail of it. It's only 95,000, this whole thing. It's pretty affordable, and the version I'm using does have CC, So the one that I'm gonna put on the gallery will not have any CC, so in case you're using it, you'll have to place it yourself. I also did something I didn't really expect from myself. If you watched bits of my challenge, maybe if you play this challenge, you know about this outfit from Outdoor Retreat, and it has those 3 color options originally, and I've used them. I feel all of my ears wore this. Plus, I'm kind of trying to color coordinate my families into green, since they Greenwood, and the side households in red and yellow, and another one, okay, in black and purple. But I did some simple recolors of this. So there's the brown one. It's different from others, but like similar enough. I really like the feeling of my custom content matching the game, because there are so many items in the game, it's really hard to have things that are not matching, to be honest. Then there's the black one, kind of grayscale, maybe gray-black. There's also blue and brown version. And then I have 3 new green versions, because, I mean, important for me. I have this dark green with the dark gray shirt. Then I have this green, it's different from the Outdoor Retreat one. It's a little bit more solid green, I would say. It's very similar, but it's also different. And the other one is a very bright green with black accents instead of brown. And I thought it looks like very fresh, very new. It could be great for teenage Sims. Then I have the gray one, gray and brown, purple and black, and also this burgundy shade, burgundy red color. So in case you want it, it will be available. It is available actually on my website. I have the link down below. That's how it actually looks on my website, just in case you're wondering. It has the picture that I'm super proud of. I was so excited to explore myself creatively in Photoshop to be able to do this. And it has Aldous, my current heir, and his 2 brothers modeling all the colors. And there's download link, which leads straight to my Google Drive. I don't have Sims file share account. I did apply for it. Maybe I'll get it by the time this video comes out, and the link will be actually Sims file share. Now, also important for the new century, I started my own Google document that I will also share in the description down below. It's made with the mix of Murbid's Ultimate Decade Challenge and the website called Several UDO, and I also used history.com and Rosalie Gilbert website. Rosalie's website had an article about medieval holidays, and I used it heavily to kind of locate perfect times for me to place those holidays throughout the century, to fill the days, not only with like deadly historical events, but also with some happiness. So first part here is the lifespan for this current century. And all the roles I have to do. Then I have the inspiration for the houses. I used those 2 images myself. That's the first one, kind of for clutter, the house structures, and kind of how they would place things around the house. I thought it was like great research. And there's also this exterior pictures that I found, and I was very inspired, obviously, originally by this image. And I have this building in my build, but also I was very inspired by that, and I really like this idea of sort of medieval town, and this carriage passage here, and kind of how there's things everywhere cluttered outside. And I hope my house will evolve slowly into that, because I believe some of those, maybe this one, that one, and those 2 potentially are very suitable for the next century as well, although there is like literal brick here and here on that image, because I think it was restored like that. That's the bedroom, and I kind of used it as inspiration for the bedroom I put for my main household. A very important page for the new century is the garden and harvest. I'm very excited to follow the rules and have my Sims eat precisely what they can produce themselves. And now to the main thing, which is events. This took me a couple of days to figure out. That's where I used most of the... Well, actually, that's where I used all of the reference websites. So in blue, for every year, there is either an event, a historical event, or a holiday. And I used traditions of medieval times, and it was very interesting. I think it would be great to add some positivity and some flares into each following after this video. Like, I like the idea that it says that people would wake up early, go outdoors and gather flowers, and branches to decorate their house. Women traditionally would braid flowers into their hair. I think all of those traditions and to reflect them into the challenge is pretty cool. The holidays do rotate, but they are aligned with my calendar in game. So I know that I'm starting, like for the first 2 years, I will be in spring. So I have 2 spring holidays. And then it goes on. There's Christmas, there's St. Stephen's Day, where you open the gifts, and there's middle of the summer feast, and so on. Like there's Halloween. Holidays do repeat. Of course, there's 100 years. There's not enough holidays. There are enough holidays, but there's not enough medieval holidays that I was able to find. But also, it would be fun to kind of maybe make every Christmas throughout the century. I think I have 3 or 4 different. So I really like this idea to kind of mix everything, and I literally have something for every year. So not only death rolls, but also a little flair of what is happening. Could be said conquest of Canary Islands, or maybe we have a second harvest festival, aka wine festival. So yes, I'm very proud of this part, and if you want to include this into your challenge or follow those rules for this century, it's in the description down below. Also on my website will be available a couple of t-shirts with the artwork from 1398.99, this video thumbnail, and CC preview poster that I did. You can also see the t-shirts on the screen. I think they came out super cool, and I started this sort of an add-on for my Twitch channel, the website I mean, but I kind of decided to maybe include some of the YouTube things as well there. So in case you like it, the t-shirts are very comfortable. I do have one of them, and I will wear them probably while filming those parts. It's not a big thing, obviously, but when you feel creative and maybe you do like a thumbnail and you really like it, or you do just in general making like a whole photo shoot in Sims with the pose packs and the research that goes into it, and then experimenting in Photoshop with different layers and overlays and whatever, to be able to find another outlet as well creatively is super fun. So that's why I did it. Yeah, that would be it. I really hope I'll be able to finish this century and don't leave it there for like a year like I did with the previous century. I really want to go forward. Like I really want to play in sort of modernish eras like 70s and 60s, or maybe even 20s, and have like, I don't know, all of more recent years, like the last century would be so much fun to play. But first I have to arrive there. So again, all likes, comments, subscriptions to my YouTube would be super appreciated, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.